Hello folks, welcome back to my channel, Mars and Barnsy. I've got quite an interesting little video for you here. It's a continuation of our exploration of the Cydonia region of Mars, and we're using the Mars Express orbiter shots that were taken in 2006. This is a black and white image. Essa done a few images in colour, and they done one in black and white, and the black and white one actually shows a little bit more detail. It seems to be a larger image of a broader section of Cydonia. Last week, or a few days ago anyway, we did I did a video on Nephthys, as I call her. I mean, I'm giving all the mesas and these artificially altered landforms a name because it should be easier to reference in the future. But it was the kneeling lady with and she was holding the bottle, and Nephthys was as I described it. You'll have to go and have a look at my last video, and I'll go into a little bit more detail. But she was depicted as a goddess of mourning, but she was also depicted as a comforter, and who stood at the birth bed to offer comfort and help with the birth of newborn babies. Now that's important, that, right, to what I'm about to show you, because if we look at the actual image, there's Nephthys there, and there's the Mesa where she's kneeling. There was plenty of other backup evidence on this Mesa to indicate that it's all artificial, but like I say, go and have a look at my last video. But here she is kneeling, and she's got the bottle in her hand. But if you have a look, you will see that she's orientated. Is north at the top. You'll see that she's orientated to the west. Okay, so she's actually looking this way. Yeah, and there's a reason why she's looking this way, because I think she's looking at this Mesa here, which I think is absolutely amazing. How anyone has never pointed this out in the past, that I just don't know. It must be that people haven't really looked at the image properly. I can't give an explanation for why people haven't picked up on it. It's pretty straightforward, really. But you can see that she's looking in this direction, and don't forget, I said before, she was depicted as a comforter, and she stood at the birth bed. Comforter, you know, it'll help in the birth of newborn babies. And it just so happens that we're looking at a Mesa, right, that I think is depicting a pregnant lady, a pregnant woman. Yeah, and you know, it's pretty obvious. Here we have the fetus. Here we have the head, and we have the body, somewhat stylized, but you can still see that you know, it's a round stomach. Yeah, and just here, very slightly, you can see legs. These lines here, to me, indicate legs, and I'll show you, you know, thighs. I'll show you exactly what I mean in a minute with a slightly clearer image. And I've this particular Mesa, I've called a pregnant Isis. So I think this represents, in raw form, the goddess Isis, the goddess of magic, who is the sister of Nephthys. Yeah? Okay. And that's who I think that is. Now, just let me... what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to show you close-up images of it, and so you can get a better idea of what we're looking at, because I've put some of them in slightly different colours. Not cut. When I say slightly different colours, I've just, you know, changed the contrast a little bit, changed the brightness, and it just gives us a little chance to see different parts, different detail in the image. Okay, I mean, if you look at this very carefully, you can see that it's a face. Now when I first saw this, I was only concentrating on the head, going back a few years ago, and I thought that it was some kind of warrior or something like that, and then I realised a little bit later on exactly what I was looking at. But you can see the head here, and she's wearing a helmet, okay, and it's got a single horn here. She's got a very sharp nose and very sensuous lips, yeah. I think her eyes are closed, either side, her eyes are closed, and on the side of the helmet is a very elaborate earpiece, like protective flap, if you like. It's very, very elaborate and stylized here, okay. And then this is the neck area. There's actually some kind of what looks like a horse or something like that around the neck, like a hoofed animal. So I'm just presuming that it's a horse. Don't forget, these are stylized images, okay. They meant a lot to this culture, and this is actually an important story, this, okay. Now is the fetus here, yeah. You see the head, there's one arm, there's the other arm pointing out, okay. There's the body, and at the bottom there's an opening, because that fetus is about 2 kilometers in length. From the top of Isis's head to the bottom of her belly there, that's 7 to 8 kilometers in length, okay. Just so you get an idea of the size here. And the fetus itself is about 2 kilometers. You can actually see an umbilical cord here, see. It's actually attached to the wall of what we call the womb, okay. Now come on to that one. Just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, now I've done this one. I've put the Mesa in an upright position, okay, so that we can get a better idea of the orientation of a body. So if I just do a layer here, and then I'll mark it for you. Now you can actually see here, these represents a thigh here. You see that, those 2 lines, and you can see where the belly comes round here, yeah, okay. Now if you do a close-up, you can actually see, look how elaborate the ear flap is, and you can see that it's even on both sides. It's symmetrical. You can see the helmet, you can see the horn, and she's got a very sharp nose. And look at her lips. Her lips are very, very sensuous. See, overly exaggerated, but they come up this way, and you can just see on this side here, like another ear flap on this side, and there's actually like a tube here. It's either a tube, but it doesn't half look like the number 5 here, okay. It's like a tube there, and there's the horn and the helmet here. So I think it ends about there roughly, and then you've got the ear flap here, yeah. And she's got a very sharp, very prominent nose, very sharp features, yeah. Okay, and here around the neck, that's I think it's a horse. I'm not quite sure. And there's like legs here, so it's like some kind of animal round the neck. Okay, so we just come on to that. This is another upright position one. again you can see the face, very sharp nose, the helmet, the very elaborate earpiece and the lips, and I think that that does show a woman. I think it depicts a woman. She's pregnant. You can see it, you can clearly see the fetus and the curvature of the belly. Okay. So let me see. I've got yeah, I've done this one. This was a close-up of the baby, if you like. And in the mythology of Egypt, Isis gave birth to Horus, the hawk god. Okay, now this is a close-up. I've done it in this colour because it seems to bring out quite a few of the features in the you know, on the Mesa. But if you have a look at it very carefully, you can actually see a face. You can actually see that the baby's face here. You see that? You see the nose, the eye, the mouth. Yeah. You see the arm, and the arm appears to be carrying what I can only describe as a head. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but that's what's there. So the fetus is holding a head in this arm, and this arm is pointing at another part of the map, and I will come back to that in another video because it's very, very important. Okay, and if you have a look here, you can see the opening in the at the bottom of the body of the fetus, and here we've got myriads, I mean it must be thousands of structures. Can you see the shape, the patterns here? You see, it's absolutely full of buildings and structures, all on this mesa. Okay, let's come on to that one again. I think I've done an upright one again with that, just so you can see the outline of the belly. See? So you can see her head in it. She's wearing a helmet, very sharp features, protective ear flap there. There's some kind of animal around the neck, which obviously must have been symbolically very important. You see the shape of the belly. It reminds me, it's the equivalent to a scan, only in sculptured in rock, 7 to 8 kilometers in length, because I think that's exactly what it is, a sculpture showing Isis who's pregnant. Yeah. Okay then guys, I hope you found it interesting. It's only a short video because I don't think I need to make it any longer for you to see that these aren't just random geological formations. They can't be. There's absolutely no way that they're random geological formations, because they're all basically connected to one another. These mesas have a strong connection. And it seems to be the raw template for a lot of the mythology contained within the Egyptian belief system. And how the Egyptians got hold of all this information, I do not know, but there is definitely a connection to it. And I've got that much data, I've got that much evidence that it's to be honest with you, it's a little bit overwhelming, the amounts of stuff, the amounts of evidence that's here, and how ESA or NASA have been able to keep the secret for so long. I just don't know. I'm a little bit like surprised that they've been able to keep the likes of this under wraps for so long. Okay then guys, thanks for watching, and keep a lookout for my next video, which should be very shortly. Thanks very much. Bye bye.